Today's presentation is titled Filtration and Purification Solutions for Battery Manufacturing. To start off, we have Julia Fidanza, business developer for IEF, kicking off the presentation. Then our speakers today are Boris Vinet, strategic sales manager for industrial air filtration, Simon Beth Rust, sales manager for industrial gases, and Josh Evans, applications engineer for BOFA. This is our agenda for today, and before I hand over to Julia, I would just like to remind you all to type any questions you have into the chat on the right-hand side of your screen. We're going to address all of them at the end of the presentation. Please use only the chat box for your questions and concerns, and please avoid using any of the action items. If we run out of time and cannot address your questions during the webinar, rest assured that our Donaldson specialists are going to respond to you offline. And now, hand it over to Julia. Julia, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Luana. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today. So, why Donaldson? To answer that question, let me just start by talking to you a little bit about our company's history. As some of you may know, our story began in a dusty field back in 1915, when Frank Donaldson hand-fashioned the very first air filter to fix one of his customers' tractors. From that moment on, we grew very quickly, establishing a global presence already by the 1950s and 60s. In 1974, we reached another important milestone by acquiring Torit, a company specialized in industrial dust collection systems. As our journey progressed, we remained dedicated to innovation and kept investing in research through the years, introducing groundbreaking technologies such as the UltraWeb in 1982 and Tetratex in 1994. But we didn't stop there. Building on our success, we continued investing to expand our capabilities and push our reach even further, with important milestones such as the launching of our industrial gases division in 2002 and the acquisition of BOFA International in 2018. So now that we've learned a little bit about our history, let's look at where Donaldson stands today. The numbers, data, and images on this slide should already give you a good idea of where Donaldson is today, our scale and impact. However, before moving on, I just want to highlight a couple of quick points. As of today, Donaldson has been a leader in the filtration industry for over 100 years. Nearly $80 million were invested in research and development, and we have made 11 acquisitions in the last decade alone. And so we're constantly working on expanding our expertise and reach for our customers. And that's what makes us stand out. Our passion for innovation, combined with our extensive knowledge of the many industries and applications we serve globally, allows us to engineer top quality technologies and find the right solutions for any filtration and purification challenge. So with this foundation in mind, let's tune into the topic of the day and give our floor to our experts. So without further ado, please welcome our next speaker, Boris Vinet.
Thank you, Julia. That nicely sets the scene for the whole part of the webinar. So good afternoon, good morning to everyone, and I also thank you all for joining us today. Now let's dive into the world of the air and gas filtration for gigafactories. Do it once, do it right. Yes, but why? So that's maybe the question you ask yourself. Let's see why we have chosen this title for our webinar. At the beginning, each company planning to produce electrical batteries is developing its chemistry in a laboratory. In a small laboratory, we test everything. Then once the right chemical formula has been found and proven, it's time to scale up to the pilot plant. Then the pre-industrialization of electrical batteries has started, and the validation of the different tools and processes is starting as well. Soon, some problems pop up and are regularly solved. That's the aim of the pilot plant. At one point, the pilot plant is starting to deliver, and the giga scale is coming next. So when everything is fine in the pilot plant scale, we want to enlarge the production and to start the giga production. In that phase, there are still some little issues that once multiplied to the giga scale are becoming serious threats to the overall efficiency of the plant. At Donaldson, we know that the treatment of dust, gases, and fumes is one of these challenges to scale up efficiently to gigafactory. That's why do it once, but do it right. And at Donaldson, we know how. How do we know how? We have installed solutions in more than 40 gigafactories in the world, mostly in China for the moment, but we are also now uh, putting more solutions in gigafactories in USA and Europe. Our daily job is to deliver solutions to control hazardous and dangerous dust and fumes like the ones that are present in each and other gigafactory. Thanks to our experience, Donaldson is your proven strategic partner for air, gases, and fume solution in your gigafactory. What are the critical points to run efficiently a gigafactory? First, efficiency and uptime are most critical. We will see later why. Then, control of the running costs. Finally, eliminate all risk associated to the safety, contamination, fire, and explosion. From the initial design of the factory to the first C sample delivered to the market, each industrialization step should be executed in a very short time frame. Donaldson's can deliver solution in weeks lead time. As an example of a large use collector, especially designed for gigafactory, have a lead time of 3 months only. There is a very aggressive growth on the demand for batteries of electrical vehicles. By 2030, the needs for battery in Europe will increase by 15 times. Gigafactories will need to deliver at full capacity by then. All goes very fast. And in the meantime, the gigafactory should also be working efficiently and effectively. By building this factory that quickly, and this short time frame is quite unusual, the risk to adopt wrong decisions, bad production line design, inefficient solutions are increasing as there is no time for detailed comparison, analysis, check, or control. You will prefer to rely on Donaldson experience. Another very critical point is the sourcing of raw material. The European regulation makes the producer of electrical vehicle batteries responsible to reuse up to 61% from the waste batteries to build new ones. Recycling the batteries has become critical for the EV battery manufacturers to comply to the law, and even more critical to ensure the sourcing of the material. In the future, raw material will mostly come from the recycling of the batteries. There are filtration challenges associated with the recycling of EV batteries. Donaldson is already providing solutions for companies recycling metal, plastic, and minerals that you find in batteries. The application can be the pyrolysis recycling process or the mechanical direct recycling. For each of them, there are filtration solutions. We have several successful examples in the car recycling and also in the battery recycling since more than 15 years. There is no more secret for us. And what are these solutions? They are part of the One Donaldson concept. One Donaldson. All solutions for clean ambient air, pure compressed air and gases, and the fume controls are monitored with a single system, and all spare parts are all available at one single location. We will see that a bit later. Let's have a look into where are exactly the needs of filtration in the typical process to make batteries. As you can see on this slide, all the steps of the battery fabrication, from the mixing of the active material until the packing of the cell, there are multiple needs for filtration and purification. I name dry compressed air, CO2-free gases, dust and fume controls. There are many opportunities to install Donaldson solutions. Let's check where and how. One of the specific challenges in a gigafactory is to make and maintain the air dry in the plant. This is critical. Down to minus 40 or minus 45 degrees C, that's the targets that are set typically in a gigafactory. Once the plant has reached this level of dryness, you don't want to spoil this expensive dry air. So the compressed air brought into the room, for example, that will be used in many different processes, needs to be dry as well. We may go down to minus 90 degrees C dew point, and sometimes you want to deliver as well CO2 reduced compressed air for specific applications. The dust and fume collection needs to be effective, so we need to capture the dust and the fume, while the dry air is not simply thrown outside the building like we can typically do for dust collection. The circulation of the dry air is common in a gigafactory. All the equipment need to be sealed and help to maintain the operating cost of the plant as low as possible. To maintain the battery cost as low as possible, the running cost of the plant needs as well to be as low as possible. Uptime and efficiency of all the little pieces that compose the gigafactory must also be efficient and running at a low cost. Online maintenance, online monitoring, alarms, proactive maintenance, reliable and safe equipment, all these parameters are critical to reach the low cost objective. In order to have the best batteries in the market, you need as well high quality and high efficient equipment. So you need to own the best equipment to be able to deliver high quality products at high yield rates. Efficiency is also critical during the planning, design, engineering, and construction of the gigafactory. For example, low lead times are welcome in that case. Redundancy, what it is about, again, uptime is most critical for, it's one of the most critical challenge for the gigafactory. As we can see, the cost of a stop production line is enormous. If you stop a 15 gigawatt hour gigafactory for a day, it will cost around 1 million euro. Donaldson offers solution to avoid downtime. Please consult us for more details. Also, we can plan, execute online maintenance of the equipment without stopping the production line. Contamination in a gigafactory is another very critical topic. To address this issue, we have developed since more than 60 years state-of-the-art dust capture and separation systems to keep the production area clean and safe. Exposure of the employee to the dangerous material during maintenance operation is also a point on which no compromise can be done. BIBO, bagging bag out, is a common way to avoid contamination and exposure to the toxic material. BIBO is also available for HEPA filters. The VOCs, volatile organic compounds, are also a concern in a gigafactory that Donaldson is able to treat with active carbon-based solutions or even in combination with a thermal oxidizer. Do not forget that the combination of potential explosive VOC and dust makes an hybrid mixture that not many companies are able to offer a solution for. Compliance is a very important topic. In Europe, we must follow the machine directive, which is represented by the CE marking, and the ETEC standards. There is not only a matter of a label. Behind the label, there is engineering. There is a risk assessment inherent to the machine and its usage. The ETEC 2014-34-EU directive indicates the obligation and responsibilities for the person placing the product on the market, meaning that the CE marking is the responsibility of the manufacturer of the solution. When doing that, you need to place a technical file containing all the information, risk assessment, drawings, and so on, and this should be recorded in a notified body. The use of the ETEX equipment is the responsibility of the user, in that case, the gigafactory owner. This is defined by the 1999-92-EC directive, in which specific reference is made to the zoning, for example, of the installation inside, to the risk assessment, etc. This is the responsibility of the end user to do this. A lot of imported material from outside Europe, can have a label, but are not always in conformity. Probably there is a missing file or the risk assessment has not been completed correctly. This is a very serious concern that can lead to a catastrophe. Of course, all the equipment offered by Donaldson everywhere in the world are 100% compliant and follow strictly the local regulations. As an example of all we have seen before, here is a typical design proven in China that Donaldson proposes a solution to be fitted into a small space where the height is critical. This dust collector can handle up to 18,000 cube hour of air mixed with metallic explosive dust in a safe way. It can be placed safely inside the plant. For those who are a bit more technical, this solution is a ST2 solution for metallic dust, so it can handle an explosion with the following characteristics. Pmax of 8 bars, and PST of 290 bars meter per second. This unit is very compact and has a height of less than 4 meters. Here is a success story of a dust control solution provided to EV battery manufacturer by Donaldson in China. In that case, the challenge were that many filters were installed directly on the different production machines into the production area. A lot of them not always from the same technologies, not always from the same supplier. They came with the production equipment. Maintenance had to occur in the production floor. Production needed to be stopped many times to provide the maintenance. Pollution and exposure risk were high. The solution was to centralize the dust collection devices outside the production line room. The maintenance was easier and safer, created less downtime, and allow an optimized production with less emission. And now, please welcome my colleague Simon for the industrial gases part of the webinar.
Welcome, everybody. So my name is Simon Bathurst, and I'm going to speak to you for a few minutes regarding our industrial gases business and how we can help you support your process and product integrity for your gigafactory needs. So what is industrial gases? Industrial gases is everything, really. If you consider the different environments we work in, the applications that we find, and the solutions that we engineer to solve problems. And this can be from process air, which is commonly used in any production area, to instrument air, obviously hydrogen being a key focus area at the moment globally. Even our medical solutions, protecting the people in the most serious conditions, down to our CO3 reduced compressed air. And this has a big application within the gigafactories. And then we're even talking about our renewable energies and how we really enhance the sustainability of what we can offer to the customers with biomethane and biogas productions. One of the most integral parts of our business is our validation. Every product, every design, every manufacturing process has the highest accountability and validation, not only to back up the product, but also to ensure the confidence in the supply every time. So when we discuss compressed air, we often refer to the ISO 8753-1 purity class. Basically, there's 3 items to this. One is a particle retention and size at a given micron rating to understand what class of particles is required and achievable. The next one is about humidity. We talk about pressure dew point. As you can see, class 1 pressure dew point minus 70 or better. So for many of these systems for this process, we are achieving minus 90 and beyond. And then we are talking about oil concentration. Now this also includes VOCs. As Boris mentioned for the IF equipment, we also use activated carbon. So even if you are using oil-free compressors, so there's no contact in the generation, obviously we need to treat the atmospheric conditions. And we have a solution for all of those applications. So as I came back to applications, pretty limitless. And because of the limitless applications, we need to do a lot of engineering, sometimes very bespoke engineering to the customer's requirements. We have a standard range, which suits 99% of our customers' requirement, but we also have the ability to do bespoke, one-off engineering to ensure that the solution really matches our customers' requirements. So I've just listed here some of the key aspects for this area we're talking about today. So instrument air and process air, low pressure compressed air, nitrogen systems, CO2-free compressed air, breathe-in air for high integrity applications, such as maintenance on your dust and fume extraction equipment, and also welding gas purification. So let's look at the CO2 reduced compressed air in a little more detail. We are seeing very large inquiries for systems at the moment and orders for this very low CO2, below 10 ppm is the maximum set point of the CO2 concentration within the compressed air gas stream. We also have an inlet condition of 500 ppm, so you can see that the reduction of 499 or 490 ppm is achieved and better by our purification systems. We also understand that certain materials can also be not present within the contact air of the gas. So we are using stainless steel materials, stainless steel piping, vessels, and ensuring that the forbidden materials from the customer specification are not in contact with that processed gas stream. From this schematic, you can see a basic schematic of how we would go around this process with our zero purge HRS dryer, removing the bulk water and vapor before it enters into our HRE CO2 removal dryer to remove that CO2 concentration to below 10 ppm. And then the relevant filter stages that will go for the application to ensure that the specification and the highest quality is achieved. So when we talk about system design, it is imperative that really we understand exactly the total cost of ownership. For this, quite often we may be oversizing on the filtration to ensure that we give the customer the best possible pressure drop reduction that we can achieve. Also, having parallel optimization and ensures that we can always deliver the required specification 24/7 to the customer. So when a unit needs maintenance, the system and the controller can isolate, ensuring there is no stop in production, regardless of the issue and the service time frame that it's going to undertake. Obviously, when we do the larger maintenance and we look at the desk removal and in the towers themselves, that can take 24 to 48 hours. So it's imperative that we have two-stream supply. And then we look at decentral purification. So the closest to the product, the higher integrity is required. And we can use this with point-of-use desiccant dryers and particle reduction filters. One of the clear aspects of this requirement is to ensure the finest particle retention rate possible. I'd like to introduce our PSRFC. This was devised for our life sciences pillar within Donaldson, focusing on previously sterile air applications in the food, beverage, and pharma industry. The key aspects of this is the 3 nanometers of particle retention rate. This is a very extremely efficient filter. Even worst case pressure drops is that we're talking only 70 millibar, and it's best in class design. So quite often within its stainless steel housing, we can ensure that we put this at the closest point to the application, not only to ensure any particles from the compressed air, but also pipework systems and valving as well. Installation on site is key. We offer a flange to flange solution, taking ownership from when the compressor or the compressed air leaves the generation until it hits the production facility. And that total responsibility, that system design, that total cost of ownership is key for us to ensure that we supply the right equipment first time, every time. And I would like to pass over the discussion now to my colleague from our BOFA division, who's going to talk about the fume extraction.
Hi everyone, my name's Josh Evans. As mentioned, I'm from BOFA, which is the newest branch of the Donaldson family, although we've been in business for over 30 years. BOFA deals with a wide range of applications. We have a broad spectrum of products and scalable solutions, but what I wanted to focus on today was the battery passport. And this is regulation being introduced by the European Council, requiring labeling and information for all batteries. That'll be required by 2026, and then a QR code will be required on the battery by 2027. Coding is a key business for BOFA, so we have an extensive experience in this market, catering to production rates of up to 100,000 products per hour. So we have extensive experience assessing process emissions, determining which filters are best suited, specifying an airflow to ensure that you're capturing the fume, and we provide scalable solutions depending on different factory setups. One of the key technologies in the coding industry is laser. And getting fume extraction correct on this is important for a number of reasons. Not only do we want to protect the operators and help prevent contamination on equipment and the product itself, but adequate fume extraction has a real impact on the quality of the code. So if there's lots of fume in the atmosphere between the laser and the product, it causes a diffraction effect on the beam, which means that less energy makes its way to the material surface. Less energy making its way to the material surface means a less clear mark and a less clear code, and therefore an increased rate of product rejections and an increased cost to the business. So on the screen in the middle, you can see an image which is a laser mark that has been made. On the left-hand side is the mark made with fume extraction present. You can see a nice, clear, well-defined black box. And on the right-hand side, the fume extraction was removed. So you can see how this has a real measurable effect on the quality of your product. So as I've mentioned, we have a wide range of products and filtration solutions for a wide range of markets, but I'm going to run through one of the most common setups you'll find in a BOFA extraction system. So first of all, you'll notice it's mobile, disposable, easy to change filters. The first stage of filtration will be our patented Deep Pleat Duo pre-filter. This is going to remove the bulk of the particles. It's the easiest, it's the cheapest to change. After that, we have a HEPA filter, which is rated to remove 99.995% of 0.3 microns. So whereas the pre-filters removing the bulk of the particulate, the HEPA filters removing the very finest particles being generated by your process. And then the final stage of filtration is our activated carbon filter. This is really good for removing gases and vapors, particularly volatile organic compounds, VOCs. And then it will run through the fan, and it can either be, the air can either be returned back into workplace or vented outside, depending on local regulations and what you're processing. Inside there as well, you'll find our intelligent IQ operating system. This gives the operator real-time data of the system, so they can see as the filters are blocking, they can see performance of the fan, any alarms or anything that might be showing on the screen. And on top of that, all of that data is stored. So you can take a download from the extraction system and get up to 3 months worth of data from that. Really useful if you're looking to fine tune your extraction system, get the most out of it and reduce the overall costs for the business. My success story today is talking about a coding customer that approached us a couple of years ago. They were coding onto aluminium. They were producing 1,500 codes per minute, and the current system wasn't meeting their needs. They were having issues with things like filter life. There's also evidence, some may be aware, that lasering aluminium can present a fire risk, so there's evidence of fires that previously occurred in the system. So we took a look at the application. We actually developed a customized version of our AD1000 IQ system, which has good airflow for fume capture, really good filter capacity. And then on top of that, we included our spark arrestor module to help mitigate that fire risk. Since then, the customer's actually been very happy with the solution, and they've actually switched over to us as their supplier, which is good for us and good for them as well. Okay, that's all my time. I'll pass back to Boris.
Thank you, Josh. Now let's continue with the common maintenance solutions, spare parts and service that industrial air filtration, industrial gases, and BOFA can supply the industry with. So, in addition to our extensive dust and fume collectors and gases purification first fit solution, Donaldson also have service team covering maintenance needs for dust and fume collection system and their accessories. Dust, fume, compressed air and gas systems are in the scope. Dust collector, compressed air, dryers, point of use filters, breathing air testing, leak detection, to name but a few. Donaldson service team provide maintenance services to all kinds of Donaldson and competition, filtration, and purification systems present in your factory. Here we have few examples of our extensive capabilities and portfolio. Comprehensive maintenance and testing solution. Several tailored packages are proposed and can be adjusted to your needs. Our technicians, they are skilled professionals. They are trained and up to date with the latest technologies. We can offer proactive monitoring through Donaldson remote connectivity systems. Donaldson is also offering a global coverage thanks to a wide network of service centers worldwide. And in addition, testing, audits, inspection, filter and spare parts, remote monitoring, upgrades, commissioning, and customer support lines are also available to you. You can see Donaldson has all the capabilities to support all customer maintenance requirements. Connectivity is a key part of the modern maintenance. Donaldson products, I name dust and gas solutions, can be connected to a centralized maintenance supervision systems, either to the Donaldson native system, which is IQ system, or also to generic computer maintenance management systems, CMMS, or even to any SCADA system that are collecting data, I would say, in all the plants. The Donaldson IQ systems offer several levels of supervision, from local supervision, including alarms on local computers and phones, to remote supervision provided by Donaldson personnel. Finally, Donaldson offers a wide range of spare parts for its solution and also for competition products. All the replacement filters and parts are available with the state-of-the-art Donaldson media and technologies that guarantee filters and parts of the highest quality and efficiency. A digital e-commerce platform, shop.donaldson.com, allows a very access to all spare parts and aftermarket products you need to maintain your equipment up and running as long as possible while offering the best user experience. Now, Luana will conclude before we go to the question and answer session.
Thank you, Boris. So now I would like to invite you all to meet us at the Battery Show next week in Stuttgart, Germany. The event will be from the 18th to the 20th of June. And together with our vehicle electrification team, our experts are going to be present to explore how we can help to mitigate your air, gas, and fume challenges. Then to conclude, need to scale up, do it once, do it right. Donaldson, your single source supplier for all your EV battery manufacturing, filtration, and purification needs. Thank you, Boris, Simon, and Josh, and thank you all for your active participations and questions during the presentation. Now I'm going to start posing questions to our presenters. And just as a reminder, if we don't have enough time to answer all of your questions, our Donaldson specialists are going to follow up with you offline. First one that we have here, what solution do you have to help reduce energy related to dust collection, filtration, and air quality?
So the connectivity service that we provide is allowing the customers to better renew have under control the energy consumption related to the filtration solutions. Monitoring that with different systems allow to get control and to understand how they work, and then to reduce and optimize the use of the equipment. Yes.
Thank you, Boris. So next one, can the BOFA system be positioned inside the dry room?
I'll take that one. So there's nothing to prevent a BOFA system being positioned inside the dried room. However, in our experience, just for mere practicality, it's better to position it outside and duct in. The main reason for that is when it comes time for filter change, you want to make sure that there's no possibility of the filtered material contaminating the dry room. So because of that reason, most customers will opt to put it outside of the dry room.
Perfect. Thank you, Josh. What products for compressed air treatment would you recommend for battery manufacturing?
Okay, I'll take this. So yeah, really need to understand a little bit more about the application and what you're trying to achieve. But firstly, we would start by removing the bulk liquid. So this is where we're looking at separators, cooling, particle filters, surface filters, that kind of thing. Maybe some coalescers. Ensure we're getting, and then we start to look at the humidity, what pressure dew point you require, and that will most probably be our large-scale zero purge desiccant systems. From that, if you require CO2 reduction, we will look at our HR redry or the CO2 removal. And then we're back into the particulate filtration stage, removing the VOCs if required. So we have a whole portfolio, around 30,000 item numbers, I think, within our business unit. So yeah, we will definitely have a product for that application. So yeah, please send in the details and let's make contact.
Thank you, Simon. Next one, what is the difference between dust collection for battery application and other applications?
Okay, I take this one. As many applications, basically, as there are processes for industries, what is specific to the battery application is being in presence of a dry room with dry air. So the management of this dry air is quite specific and typical to the batteries. As well, we have in presence toxic to the human dusts, and also potentially explosive and fire risks are existing with these dusts. So we have a quite complex application. Also, this is I would say it's not really complex. It's all the difficulties are that we are seeing daily, but probably not all at this present at the same time. Here they are present at the same time. So we have the explosivity, the toxicity, we have the dry air. So all this in one application makes it a bit unusual, but this is nothing that we can't do. And all of these challenges are dealt daily by Donaldson. We supply more than half of our systems on potentially explosive dust, for example. So this is really nothing special for us.
Thank you, Boris. So moving on to the next question, where do I get more information on BOFA units?
So I'll take this one. You can definitely go to our website, which is bofainternational.com. Through there, you'll find a whole bunch of resources that you can draw on. On top of that, we have a live chat function and all of the appropriate contact information, whether it be sales, technical. So that's probably the best place to start, bofainternational.com.
Thank you, Josh. Moving on, can dry compressed air and CO2-free compressed air be treated in a combined system, or must separate units be installed?
Yeah, good question. From our design, we use a percentage of the dry CO2 free air for regeneration. So we use this for the heating gas and the cooling gas. So if we were to have one unit, it would be significantly larger, meaning that we would then end up using more regeneration gas. So by going to two separate units, we can really ensure the energy footprint is a lot better and guarantee the performance a lot more easily. I've got two separate products doing two separate things, two specialists really, rather than having a multi-skilled man, if you think of it from that perspective. Yeah, so it's all regarding efficiency and performance. Um, the two items is the best way forward.
Thank you, Simon. Next one. Do you recommend multiple smaller systems for manufacturing process or one large central system to address collection needs?
So it depends. Depends on the application, depends on the arrangement of the production flow. I would say there is not a typical way of doing that. It will really depends on what is the situation we face. So for this, there is not a standard answer.
Mhm.
We can have time to time, like BOFA unit will be more small units a little bit everywhere. Rather than dust collection, we would prefer maybe to have one large unit that is collecting on several points the dust. But again, this is very flexible and we adapt very precisely to the needs of the customers.
Thank you, Boris. Is it necessary for the dust collector unit to be positioned above the process unit, or can it be located on the ground floor?
I'll take this one too. So no, good question, Angela. Thank you. There is no requirement. We will adapt the ducting system in order to connect the collection area to the dust collector. It can be on the shop floor, it can be behind, it can be above. It doesn't really matter. We are very flexible on that as well. Of course, a piping system requires to pay attention to velocities of the air inside it. Also, the pressure drop it will induce, and then you need maybe to size your fan a little bit differently and so on. But again, this is something we are doing daily. We really adapt our solution to the customer needs and his requirements.
Thank you, Boris. Next one. At what stage in production do we need to be the most cautious about compressed air?
What stage? Everywhere, firstly. I think really understanding what your specification is. The closer you are to your production, the more that integrity is required. Yeah? So if you're in a certain area, and it depends. Many sites will have different specifications. You may have some instrumentation outside in the winter months. You may even be using your compressed air gas to do the pulse jet cleaning on the Donaldson dust product. By ensuring that is extremely dry, it's going to give you a lot better efficiency of that cleaning process and give you a better life expectancy of the filter media. So I think from that application is really understanding from a risk assessment, your production, and then coming to see us and seeing if we do that centrally, do we do it at generation, or do we do it at point of use? And we can make a most cost-effective decision regarding on total cost of ownership, serviceability, and obviously ensuring that everything's 100% uptime um, for your requirements. So again, please make contact. Let's arrange a meeting.
Thank you, Simon. Next one. What VOCs can the BOFA filter?
Yeah, so a wide range, let me put it that way. So the activated carbon we use has a very high surface area, so it's very well suited for a wide range of VOCs. However, then we also have multiple options of what we call impregnations. So you can add different chemicals to the carbon to allow it to selectively filter different contaminants. So the list is very long. I'm not going to list them all now, but essentially a wide range, but also if there are specific contaminants, we can look at targeting those with an impregnation.
Thank you, Josh. Well, the next question is also for BOFA. So, can the BOFA system be moved if our production line changes?
Yeah, absolutely. So our systems are designed to be mobile. So they will come with wheels and fixed swap casters, things like that. And it's something that we deal with a lot, particularly in the electronics industry. We'll find that production lines are changed pretty regularly. The only kind of little caveat that I would add to that is that if you're in the UK, there are specific regulations around testing. So if your process does change or move, then you'll need to get your extraction system retested. That's all you need to consider.
Thank you, Josh. So we are approaching at the end of our time together. So I'd just like to thank you all for joining us today and for your insightful questions and engagement. So we appreciate your participation and look forward to assisting you further. I wish you all a great day.